Hello my lovelies and welcome back to another video. I am still in my parents' house, so we are taking full advantage of it. I'm actually in my sister's old bedroom. Today's video is going to be actually really good. It's gonna be kind of like an expose type of video. Today, we're gonna be looking at common mistakes when buying shoes from all across the board. They could be designer, they can be different name brands from Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, JCPenney, Macy's. But today specifically, we're gonna look more in depth into shoes from places like TJ Maxx, Ross, and Marshalls, because those shoes are the prime examples of common mistakes. Let's get into it. Don't get me wrong, you can definitely find amazing quality shoes at these places, but you have to look out for these certain things to make sure you don't get duped. The first common mistake for myself when buying shoes was having that misconception of believing that brands, when they couldn't sell them out or it was like a last season type of item, they would take them, put them on truckloads and ship them all over TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Ross, or other similar types of stores where it's kind of like you have name brand items. Majority of the shoes at these discounted stores are one of two things. So the first being they either didn't pass the quality standard for the different tiers. So tier 1 is where the quality is really good and they get sent to those retail stores where they actually sell them at full retail price. And tier 2 is where they don't pass the quality standard and they get sent to discounted stores. Or the second option for the shoes, the reason why they're in those discounted stores is because it was a failed concept. The designer or the brand doesn't want to actually sell these shoes at a full retail store or price, so they send them off to discounted stores to not actually get nothing for those concepts. Obviously, there's a lot more that we don't know, but these are kind of like the biggest things because we actually have some insight from people that actually work at these factories and design things. So now that we have this knowledge, what are we gonna do with it? The first thing that I look out for is different sizes in the shoes. Literally. One shoe is bigger or one shoe is smaller. I think it's kind of messed up that it could be up to a half size difference and they can still pass the quality inspection. That's crazy. So I have a really great example for you guys we found in TJ Maxx by the brand Michael Kors, and I paid $59.99 for these shoes. So I want to show you guys the difference in sizing. So when you put heel to heel, you try to put it as perfect as possible. You can see right away where the upper of the shoe meets the sole of the shoe and how off it is on both sides. So on my left shoe, the actual sole meets pretty even, meets very close to the upper portion, but the right shoe, the sole, there is so much overlapping of the upper portion over the sole, it's ridiculous. So automatically you can see that the right shoe is a little bit larger than the left. So once you line the heels up, you go towards the bottom, you can see that the right shoe is a little bit bigger. So when I actually do put these shoes on, I can automatically see that I have more toe cleavage in one of my shoes. And that means when I do start wearing them, or if I'm actually gonna keep them, in one day, I will most likely get blisters in that shoe where it's bigger, and then the shoe that's actually snug and actually fits my foot is gonna be good. So it's gonna be one wonky shoe versus the other. So the lesson is, put both of these shoes on when trying on the shoes in the store. I am that type of person that will only take one shoe off and just try that shoe on. And then if it fits, I will be happy and I will think that, hey, the other shoe obviously is gonna fit well. I come home, put both of the shoes on, and one of the shoes doesn't fit. It actually just happened from Target. I got these sandals. I tried on my left shoe. It was perfect. They were stunning. They were cute. I bought them. I came home. I put the right one on. I couldn't fit it over my right toe. They did go back. The second biggest flaw is you can actually see major visible glue lines. Yes, a lot of the shoes, most of the shoes, there's a little bit of glue line visible, but that's acceptable. But if you start seeing very major visible glue lines, sometimes even chunks, that's a red flag. That's an indication that the shoes, when they were putting them together, they were the wrong size. So the upper and the bottom, they were not actually matched correctly. So they try to press them in, squash them together. And that's where the glue becomes very visible. And then what do you get when you buy those shoes with the very visible glue lines? They come apart because you have rain, you have dirt, you have snow, you have everything in your environment that will get into those little cracks and take them apart before those shoes should fall apart. I'm not gonna tell you the brand of these shoes because honestly, major visible glue lines are all over the board. It's ridiculous. But how cute are they? I think these are so cute. They're silver and black stars. I think they're cute. So once you start looking, you're like, whoa, okay, there's a huge gap right here and the glue is actually starting to come apart a little bit, but there's a lot of glue right here. So obviously this was not sized correctly. And then a lot of times you can see a lot of major glue happening right at the toe of your foot or the toe of the shoe. Little chunks of glue right here. Most shoes on the market will have a little bit of a visible glue line. Once you start looking, you're like, okay, there's a little bit of glue. I can see it. It's totally acceptable. You got to look out for those shoes that have excessive or major amount of glue lines. The third flaw is you can see legit gaps or little holes in your shoes. That's a major red flag. I actually bought a pair of shoes, and I will tell you the brand, Steve Madden's. I find them to be very inconsistent with their quality, but I found these really cute espadrilles at DSW. They fit perfectly. I came home, I literally wore them for not even 2 weeks, and they came apart because they had gaps in the shoes, and we looked after. I didn't look because I'm smart and didn't feel like I had to investigate at DSW's because I thought it was a great bargain. It wasn't. It was $60. A very similar type of shoe was like around $110. So I'm like, hey, I'm getting a great bargain. When in fact, I got scammed and I paid $60 for a shoe that I wore for not even 2 weeks. So it literally had major gaps. And then I looked on the reviews on DSW and so many people said it had major gaps and the shoe completely fell apart. So a great example is they literally already have gaps coming apart right here. There's a gap right here, and that means there's no glue in there, so nothing is holding it together. Once I wear these in the rain or dirt, they will start coming apart very quickly or quicker than they should. Literally gaps right here. There's a gap right there. Yeah, these shoes will not last me a month, and you can see the glue lines everywhere, but the gaps, that's what really got me. And I mean, $60 for these shoes. I mean, these shoes are just rough. You can kind of see this was a failed concept because the little, I don't even know if this is even leather, but this little portion underneath the emblem, it's crooked. You can even see it overlapping the emblem or the logo. The shoe is just bad, but it's a great example for this video. So the lesson here is inspect your shoes, give them a little bit of a pull, give them a little bit of a squeeze. When you do that and nothing comes apart or the shoe is completely intact, that is a perfect shoe. Get it, run with it, enjoy it. But if you start pulling a little bit, I am barely pulling on this shoe and there's already gaps revealing themselves like this. I mean, come on. I don't have to even pull it. You can just see it, but you start pulling it a little bit and they're coming apart even more. That's a really big flag because shoes are made to withstand a lot. We walk in them, we run in them, we stand on them. They hold a lot of weight. They're not supposed to fall apart or create holes when I'm barely pulling on it. So the fourth flaw I look out for is weird folding or even waves in shoes. For me, that always comes back to the sizing was off again. So they tried to fit the shoe as much as they could, and that created little folds or waves among the shoes. So these right here are Adidas that I purchased, I believe in TJ Maxx, and I got them for $25. I saw them, I had to have them because usually these kind of shoes are around 80. I'm kind of like, hey, 25 bucks, I'm getting a great bargain. I got them, I brought them home. Andre saw them and he's like, how much did you pay for these? I'm like, why? He's like, did you see the folds on these shoes? The waves? Literally waves on the shoe. I did, but I kind of figured they'd be fine. So they are already falling apart because you can see little gaps or holes. And this design, I can't find anywhere except for TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Ross. I bought the ones that you can find in full retail stores, and I bought them for $80. They're very similar, but they're different. So I'm assuming that these shoes were a failed concept and they just didn't want to get rid of them or just toss them in the trash, so they sent them to the discount stores. So let's look at the actual Adidas Superstar shoes that these kind of look like. So yeah, when expecting the shoe, look out for those folds. They should be very visible to your eye. Obviously they weren't to mine because I was just so excited I was getting a bargain. But just look out for them because they usually are an indication that they are going to start falling apart. And last but not least, are cosmetic defects. This could be either a stain in the shoe, this could be a scuff, this could be a crooked logo, this could be really bad stitching, just an overall really bad cosmetic job. So for example, I got black ones also, and these were actually on sale for $36 instead of $60, like those nude ones. But the reason why these were even more on sale was because they are scuffed on the back. They have really, really crooked logos. I mean, come on. And they also have gaps, but we already talked about that. But I'm just talking about cosmetic defects. And then on these silver shoes, on this right shoe, they're very scuffed all around the edges and they look very worn. And then the left shoe is actually perfect. It's clean. There's no extra scuffs. So that's the reason why they were also on sale for $20. Of course, all of these common mistakes you can find all across the board in the designer shoe stores, in Neiman Marcus, in Nordstrom, in Dick's, in all of the full retail stores. But these common mistakes are more prevalent in the discounted stores like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, DSW, those types of stores. But that doesn't mean you can't find a great bargain. You just gotta look out for them. And you just gotta be a little bit more picky because sometimes you're not actually getting a bargain, you are just getting scammed and that shoe is just a fail. So there we have it. I really hope you enjoyed this video, found it informative and interesting. Thank you for watching, spending time with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.